Hello, everybody. Sorry for the odd time for the stream, but we'll have ourselves a discussion about MX-15 Deathwish, the subject of this past Sunday's stop-motion animation. And we have some new arrivals, so I guess a sort of unboxing or unveiling of upcoming projects. There's nobody here, but I'll start talking anyway. This is Deathwish. His gun doesn't really fit in his hand very good. He's kind of a cool figure. He gets the job done in a very workmanlike way. Just straightening him up for a transformation. The arms are a little weird. Couldn't hurt to have some words to go along with the pictures, so we'll transform him with explanation included. This I like to have it sit higher, but you have to kind of slide it down lower. Otherwise, when you try to untab this, you'll kind of rip the bottom off of it. I mean, it's a removable part there, but I didn't really explore how to put the batteries in, but you know, there's like a little screw there, and there's a battery cover, and there's a little tiny switch, and you can turn on the headlights, presumably. I had someone complain that theirs didn't work. I don't know if mine works or not. I don't feel like sourcing the tiny little batteries. But we can flip that over anytime we want to, really. Getting this to latch and unlatch is a little bit tricky without causing too much stress, but I just like to get a good grip on the torso. And the key thing is we're trying to get the back end of this, which is attached to this. We're trying to get the back end to kind of come up a little bit. So we're just giving a little pressure in that direction, and then we're pulling it, and it'll come loose. I feel like the focus is a little off on this, so I'm going to fix it. Hey, Blank Slate Studios is back. Always reliable. Always showing up for my videos. Just going to tweak the focus a little bit. I hope in the right direction. Alright. So we can lower this down. And then we can close this flap there. And this can flop over all the way in this direction. We can lift up the arms. We'll just go ahead and rotate them over while we're at it. Just keep them out of the way. In the video, I kind of forgot to get them out of the way, which is why you could kind of see them moving simultaneously when I move these pieces. I'm sorry. I had it all worked out in my head without the rear view mirrors attached. So when I found myself with the rear view mirrors attached suddenly, you weren't here for the last live stream? I could have sworn you were. I'm going to try to fix the focus some more. Try to keep it at that point. I think I went the wrong direction with it earlier. Yeah, not too bad. So I had it all worked out without the rear view mirrors, and then I was like, well, I better put these rear view mirrors on. They came in a separate baggie. And then I realized, like, you can't just slide these down because you can see the rear view mirrors kind of collide there. So, anyway. So we get these out of the way for a second. We lift these up a little bit for the rear view mirrors. And then we slide them down. And the trick is here, there's like a little, and these slide up a little bit. So they all have their own sliding hinges. But the trick here is, if I lower this down all the way, and then I try to put this in a position, the little tab, the little burr that locks it, collides there. And the way you can completely avoid that is to have these mostly down, flip this all the way in, then flip this out, and now the burr is on the inside, and it's not a problem. So again, this in a little bit. I got to slide this up, so there we go. Then put that all the way down, then flip this out, and then settle the burr. So then we'll lift up these window panels. Now we got to put the arms away. It's not too bad. But what we're going to do is have this bend here. It's a little easier if you don't have it try to do the arm joint at the same time. And I've got it backwards. I've got it exactly backwards. So let's start over. This is already up. Now we fold this down. So the wheels are kind of settled in to the center. The head you don't really need to do much with. I swear the instructions tell you to turn the head around 180 degrees, and I couldn't think of a good reason why that needed to happen. Because the head's fine where it is, in its regular position. Don't have to move it even once. So we open up the arm, and there's two components. And then all this, there's sliders here. And you might think it's all terribly complicated, but you don't even have to worry about the slider until the end. So let's get one arm in. They don't really go in simultaneously, as you might have noticed in the stop motion video. So we'll just get one in, and then we'll get the other in. So the elbow collapses a little bit. I'm a little worried I didn't convey that properly in the video, but you have to make the arm a little shorter, because we get it in here, we run the door panel through there, and then we can pin this. There's like a little hole there, right there, and it goes on a little tab. There's a little pair of tabs, one for each door. So we're going to get this hole tabbed in there, and then I guess at some point during the design process they realized the fist would be sticking out too far this way, and so they just made it so the whole thing slides a little bit to shorten up a little bit. That's the only reason that's there, but you have to unshorten it to get the thing to seat later. And we open up this one. I'm just going to open it up part way. I got to articulate the elbow. We're going to run it into position here. It fits in nice and easy there. And then we'll unfold this and tuck it into position, and then we'll collapse the hand up. So now we've pretty much put the arms away. Nice and tidy. This comes up on multiple hinges. Maybe they were borrowing an engineer from Fans Toys that day. We want to get... See, the rear view mirrors fall off constantly. And in fact, I'm just going to... I could glue them in. Maybe I will one day, but I'm just going to leave them out for now so I don't have to worry about losing them. So we're going to get this in. And this in. The doors kind of tuck into the... there. Then there's tabs here that actually go into the underside. That grill for his back or whatever. That's pretty much it. I mean, you've done the whole front end. And later on when he's for combiner mode, and this actually came a little bit loose, but this actually disconnects from this pin. Because as you might have seen in the pictures, combiner mode is, you know, you just kind of attach the front of the car and the back of the car like ornaments. They're not really part of the combiner. It's a little bit of a... They came loose because I think even in the factory they didn't know how to get this to seat properly, but you have to really get it in there until the button snaps back out. And then it's pretty stable. Little squeaky noises. It helps to turn the hips completely sideways, as I did in the stop motion, and we're going to spread the legs out. I didn't really show this, but it's just an extra little tab that helps if he's standing, helps bear his weight maybe in some positions. You don't need it necessarily, so I just kind of leave it out of the way. We're going to flip open the leg. We flip down this flap. If you forget the flap in either direction, you're going to be in for a bad day. Particularly if you forget the flap going back to car mode, because it won't go back to car mode if you don't put that flap away. We're going to flip out the rear of the car here. We're going to flip the wheel over to the other side and put the toe away. Now we have to arrange things. I like to take this hump for the front of his leg, and what you want to do is orient that so that it's pointing like in towards the middle. And then this clears really nicely, provided you have done all of that. Then while this is still open, we're going to rotate this back because we want this, what's going to be hidden later, to be on the inside towards the middle. And then we can close this panel right here. Tabs in there, tabs in there. Now we got half the car done. Then it helps to kind of move it out of the way. And we're just going to do the same thing with this side, but we've got maybe a slight clearance issue right at the end here. But this was the best I could come up with to avoid almost all the clearance issues. Just putting this stuff away. We're going to rotate that pad towards the middle. Now this is where you run into a tad of a clearance issue, but it clears this far, and then it's going to bump a little bit right there. Not too bad though. And then we rotate that back towards the middle and close it up. It kind of helps to kind of do everything at once to keep these hip skirts out of the way the whole time, but it's not too bad. Not too bad. And then we can bring these together. And then this actually tabs together pretty easily, pretty nicely. It was a little startling when I first got it because I said they didn't tab that hip joint in properly, and I popped it open and it just came apart, and I was like, but I was ready for it because I'd already worked with the drag strip guy that also splits in half. But you know, there you go, you got car mode. I'm gonna put them back in a robot mode because I display in robot mode mostly, so I'm just gonna do that a little bit while I glance over at the extensive comments. Blank slate had to go, apparently. It's not really a combined mode, it just splits in half. You know, you can separate it with this button. And you separate the front half and the back half, and the front half and the back half become ornaments. I mean, just look up X-Transbot's Monolith is the name of the combined form. And you can get an idea of what they're doing there. But most of that combined mode robot is formed from the transforming trailer that hasn't come out yet. Probably, from what I hear, it's going to be like April, so don't go holding your breath until it comes out. But pretty easy to clear it as long as you turn it sideways. Get the feet out. Get the heel out. Release away. I forgot to flip out the thing. It's just some trim that covers that wheel well. Alright, and we're going to do the other side. Once this leg's extended, this side's actually considerably easier to accomplish. This is kind of hard to get out, but there's actually a little bit of a catch there that you can catch with your fingernail. So it's not like you have to go digging at it with a tool. At first I used to stick a tool like through, and then I realized I was able to catch this easily. So not too hard to catch once you get used to it. Again, we're just going to spread this out as much as possible and we're turning the screw out, and we're turning that pad in. And there's the pad. And now we can adjust the leg to the right orientation and finish transforming the footy foot. It's got the mold, or you know, like the imprimatur, the trademark of X-Transbots there, which is a little unsightly. I would have preferred they hide it inside the robot instead of having it visible in robot mode, but I guess that's a little bit like armchair quarterbacking. I don't know what problems they had. Maybe they did the whole design and then they're like, crap, we forgot to put the trademark on there. That's probably how they talk too. They're probably like, I don't know what's going on here, but I forgot. All right. And we can flip this open. You got to spread these windows a little bit so we can get this through. We're going to take out one arm at a time. Go ahead and slide these back while everything's pretty stable, because you need a little space to close it up properly. But we'll flip this up out of the way a little bit. That way we can push in that. And then it's fairly simple to flip the arm out. And we'll do the arm. We'll extend the elbow slightly And we'll fold up the arm. It can be a little fiddly sometimes. There we go. Do the same thing over here. This one's a little easier now that the other one's out of the way, as long as I pass it through instead of getting it jammed up. Extend the elbow, close up the arm, just flip it out of the way. And like I should have done in the video, you know, get it out completely out of the way. But it didn't. So sue me. We'll get rid of the windows. Without the rearview mirrors, it's considerably simpler because there's no getting them into this area here. So we can just close these down and slide them up. Much simpler. And we slide these down a little bit and fold them. Down and fold. Then we can bring the arms down like that. Flip out the shoulder plate. Getting it to peg is tricky, but you just want to make sure that that's going this direction. And then I like to just aim too high because I'm trying to clear the tops of those door panels. So aim a little too high and then we can snap it into place. Not too bad. And then this flips over, hooks at the bottom, and then once it's hooked you can slide it up a little bit. I like to flatten that plate out at the top. And there we go. Deathwish, or I forget what he was called in the cartoon. What he's supposed to be equivalent to. We'll leave that up for a little bit because we're trying to convince YouTube that's the thumbnail. Yeah, I know, Shark. I'm a little early today. I'm trying to leave time for other activities I want to do. What type of car? He's a Porsche. He's basically a Porsche. And Porsche did have, I forget which Porsche he is, but Porsche did have like kind of a hatchback looking Porsche with a front engine, which is weird for a Porsche. Well, I mean, DX9's just on an earlier schedule, so I don't know that they won the war. That trailer is pretty silly looking, to be honest. But here we have some incoming stuff. So we'll do a little featurette. There was a shipping problem with the previous one. They made a mistake when they shipped, and they accidentally sent me. Notice that this is MX13, and I accidentally got sent this odd little thing, which is also a X something 13. So in the warehouse they messed up and didn't send this guy, so they had to resend them. I don't know how enthusiastic I am about the sort of cream color of this. It's not really white. It's kind of a cream color. I've seen people criticize it, but I guess it's trying to imitate what the toy looked like back in the day. So let's take him out of his box and see what's going on here. All right. This box is actually different than all the other boxes I've received for them, so I guess this might be a slight recolor or something. We got your little card and instruction book. And you know, X-Transbots, their instructions aren't terrible. I've seen worse. They do a lot of instructions will show you like the end position of a movement, but they won't show you the start position, so you get kind of lost. Or vice versa, they'll show you the start position with a bunch of arrows, but then you got to figure out from the next picture what the hell the end position was. And X-Transbots actually has like a lot of steps in the instructions where they're like, you know, they do a movement and then it'll be like so. There'll be a picture that shows like what it's like now that you've finished the movement, and it really helps to keep track of where you are in the steps. So kudos to them for having decent instructions. But there's the Lamborghini guy. I hear on the grapevine that a lot of people really like the design of this, how it transforms. I swear the arms look almost like they transform just like that guy. You can see the arm blocks folded out, splayed open in there. So he seems like he's pretty similar. But he turns into a leg, so he doesn't split in half like the other guys do. Something just leaped out of the box at me. Of course, it's his gun. So we have that. I don't know if I should shoot this guy because I should do all 4 cars first, or if I should do Gravestone, because I like to shoot if I have something that's like new, like just released. I like to shoot just released things right away so that at least some of my videos can be topical. I guess speaking of Gravestone, I did get Gravestone today, and boy is he heavy. It's a weirdly heavy box, but this is actually, I saw someone doing a video of him, you know, like one of the preview samples, and this guy was the moment where I was like, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get X-Transbot set. So I kind of like the way this guy transforms. It's pretty clever. I look forward to doing them, so I'm probably going to do them this weekend and then do the other car next weekend and catch up on a few other things I got to do. But he comes with the same sort of instructions. Let's see what's in the box. I opened it upside down. No big deal. So he is big and heavy and has lots of die cast in him. But that's handsome. That's a big beefy truck. I like it. It comes with a big gun and a big sword. I guess those are the combiner gun and sword in a way. So that's that. It comes with an alternate face. He comes with his face. And I think that's everything from the packaging. I didn't just get 2 things in today. I actually got a 3rd thing in, and this is one of my favorite things. This is a company named Toy Wolf. And they produce these crazy little figures. I've only got one so far that turns into a toilet. I did a video of it, so you can look for it. But this one turns into a urinal. And it's just hilarious. When I was a kid, I would get new Transformers, and I'd be like, I'd go to my dad, and I'd be like, "Hey, Dad, look at this," and he'd always invariably he'd be like, "Whoa, it's turned into a toilet," and we'd have a good laugh. But nobody ever made a toilet transformer, and then one day Toy Wolf made a toilet transformer. I really wish my dad would have lived to see it. He would have gotten a laugh out of it. Let's get this box open. Got a little foam here. Presumably the instruction manual. It's funny, this guy looks complicated enough that's like... Anyway, so he can turn into a dude, and he also turn into kind of a spider bot. It's hard to see. Turns into kind of a spider bot too. That's funny. Let's see what we got here. We got a plunger, of course. Gotta have your plunger weapon when you make a... Oh, glorious. It's in urinal mode already. It's delightful. There's the urinal. It's very white. I'll have to turn down my f-stop on the camera when I shoot him. He's got that goofy little face. Almost doesn't look like a face, but you can see it there. It's like a retarded little face. Sorry. Silly, goofy, I don't know. I don't know what I'm allowed to say anymore. So that's that. And there we have our incoming figure presentation. And then, in the hopes that YouTube will still use this as the thumbnail, I'm going to put that back out as the thumbnail. That's it for today. I reckon we're going to be doing this guy Sunday because he's cool and complicated and awesome. Yeah, it does look like a helmet, doesn't it? Was it dead end? Okay. I just noticed how neat his head is. Let's see. TF Fan 1986 says, "Hey, Peerless Drew, I'm a big fan of your stop motion transformations." Well, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the shout out. Back at you, buddy. I'm happy to make videos for people. X-Transbots really like to go real world with their vehicle modes. Yeah, well, I mean, even the original toys were trying to be real world Lamborghinis and Porsches, so why not? Yeah, the alt mode looks nice. Waterman, so you know what I'm talking about. Maybe this guy needs to take a pee. There we go. Something I find funny that Fans Toys name their Stunticons after Top Gun characters. I thought Fans Toys named their aerial bots after Top Gun characters. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I suppose it'll be a short stream. I don't have a lot. I got through it pretty quick. What else to say? Maybe more people like just watch the stream afterwards if it's a less intimidating length. Like I don't sit through an hour of something, you know. But this guy, he really is just surprisingly heavy. He is a big, heavy dude. Holy cow, that's cool. They actually made it so his wheels can turn. So you can actually present him with his wheels turned. That's nice. I like that. I mean, they don't turn together, but I am smart. I can figure it out. Let's turn those wheels. That's dynamic right there. Having the wheels turned. Okay, yeah, I figured. That would have been nuts. I was like, is that right? Did they name their Stunticons after Top Gun characters? What? Hey, there's going to be a completely pointless Top Gun 2 movie coming out this year. I don't know why. I don't know why they would bother. Just another movie that nobody wanted, based on an old property that people like and didn't want another movie for. Anyway, final comments, questions, or queries? I'm presenting you with your 2-minute warning for this brief and simple live stream. Next week will be a little more complicated because I suspect this guy's a little more complicated. This guy's pretty simple. He was also a short video. He was like 2-minute video. Sideswipe. Okay. Now, the Bad Cube was loaned to me. You're talking about Steamroll. The Bad Cube was loaned to me, and I was tempted to get it, but I didn't quite. My main reasons were I figure Takara's probably going to get around to redoing Sideswipe at some point. It was a nice, fun, little complicated transformation, but I really didn't like Steamroll's head. The head sculpt was really kind of fugly. And that's what really kind of pushed me over the edge to not picking up the figure myself. I like the transformation of the Bad Cube, Steamroll, and the other guy, the white one, the fire department one. But it wasn't quite enough for me to justify the price since I already had the Masterpiece Sideswipe. If you want a toy that is more modern and more complex, Bad Cube Steamroll is a really good version of Sideswipe, other than the head being not quite what I would want. But that being said, the original MP12 Takara Sideswipe is a phenomenal figure. Now, granted, it's from the time when they were doing more of a toy aesthetic than a cartoon aesthetic. So his chest is a little too wide. It doesn't do anything. Like Bad Cube has this really clever, if you've seen my video, but it does this clever thing where it swaps out like that trapezoidal plate. Oh well, here's a Lamborghini. It swaps out this trapezoidal plate with a skinnier one. So like, you know, the whole thing actually ends up with a skinnier chest. It's very clever. So it depends on if you like a complex, clever toy, and you see the steamroll video that I made, and you're like, oh, I could put up with that kind of complexity, then get that one. That's fine. That's a new modern take on Sideswipe, and it looks a little more like a cartoon accurate Sideswipe. But if you like a toy that's like kind of simpler but elegant, I think the Takara MP12 is one of my favorite. Well, I know it's Red Alert. I just didn't know. I don't remember what Bad Cube called their version of Red Alert. But the MP12 design is great. If you're not worried about scale, there was actually a third-party company a little while back that made an oversized MP12 that actually had like batteries and lights in it. If you want to have a little fun and get probably something that's cheaper than getting an MP12, you could probably track down that KO, that oversized KO of MP12. But MP12 is a really cool design, and it's really simple and elegant, and one of my favorite early Takara masterpiece figures. So that's a little on both of them. You have to kind of make up your own decision whether you want fancy modern engineering with maybe a bit of a dumb head, or classic engineering with a much better looking. Even the Takara's head isn't great. I'm still waiting for that Sideswipe that has a really good head sculpt. But there's my opinion on that. Max Mox. You do Lego stuff? My own creation. I'm gonna live stream Gravestone. Maybe next Wednesday. I'm on call with my job next Wednesday, and I don't tend to prefer to do live streams when I'm on call, so maybe I'll just do an extra long live stream the following week where I'll do Gravestone and this guy. So next week maybe I'm very unlikely to do a live stream next Wednesday, so look for 2 weeks from now my thoughts and details on Gravestone and this guy, because by then I'll have shot both of them. Oh, I was just mentioning that the MPKO exists. For most people, that's not really in scale with what they're collecting, so it's just kind of an oddity. All right. That was a fun little flurry of questions and information, so I'll give another 2-minute warning to see if anyone else has any other comments or questions. Is it security director? I don't remember that name. Hold on. I will just go look. Yeah, his name was Recon. Bad Cube OTS 15 Recon. And the other one was OTS 14 Steamroll. Steamroll and Recon. And unfortunately, with the COPPA thing, my demographics actually literally skew towards like the 18 to 45 adult audience, because I think most of the people looking at my videos are people that can buy masterpiece figures and not children. I mean, I think I have younger viewers, but my goal is to show how these things transform as a guide to people that own them, and that lines up with my demographic, which means I don't think I'm going to get hit by COPPA. I don't know. I don't make so much money on YouTube that it's going to ruin my life if they decide to demonetize me. I'll be like, screw you guys, and I'll just start, maybe I'll just start posting somewhere else first that's monetized, and then dump it onto YouTube a couple of weeks later, that kind of thing. But hopefully they leave me the hell alone. So far they have. Okay, everybody. Had a maximum concurrent viewership of 9. We're down to 5. We were at 6 a second ago. We're down to 5. We're going to wind down. Thank you for attending. See you on the live stream in a couple of weeks. Expect this stop motion next Sunday, and this the following Sunday, and this the following Sunday, and then I still have a New Age Samael that I need to shoot, so I'll squeeze that in somewhere. And then, I don't know, by then maybe Masterpiece Leo Convoy will be out. We'll see what happens. Oh, and also, geez, I got... they're not shipping yet, but shipping soon will be Unique Toys Mega, depending on who you ask. The Last Night Megatron Unique. I'm looking forward to that because Unique Toys has great design work. And also, another great design is the MMC torso of the MMC Bruticus Combiner is going to be shipping soon. So that's exciting. I really like that all-in design where you don't have any parts forming. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for attending, gang. Have a nice day.